who dared to refuse to conform with the religious rites and ceremonies of Romanism. So basically, powers that are going to join forces in a universal union, in a now we need to explain a little more fully what is represented by the dragon. Because the beast we know is the papacy. We know that the beast from the earth represents apostate Protestantism, which will help the papacy recover its power. But we need to know a few more things about the dragon itself. What does the dragon represent? Well, I know that we've understood that the dragon represents Satan, and that's certainly true. Because Revelation chapter 12, verses 7 through 9 says that the devil was cast out of heaven, that ancient serpent, the dragon, was cast out of heaven. So, in the primary sense, the dragon represents Satan. But in a secondary sense, it's Satan working through the secular powers of government. In other words, Satan working through the rulers of the world to accomplish his purposes. Let me just mention three texts in Scripture, three passages in Scripture that prove this to be true. In Revelation chapter 12, like I was mentioning, the dragon stands next to the woman to devour the child as soon as the child is born. Who is that child? It's Jesus Christ when he was going to be born. Now, who actually was the person that tried to slay Jesus when Jesus was born? Well, behind the scenes was who? Satan. But who was the visible individual that Satan used to try and destroy Christ? It was Herod, who was a ruler, a secular ruler of the Roman Empire. So the dragon represents Satan working through the secular power of the Roman Empire, through a civil ruler, in other words. And then we have in Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 through 10, the Bible tells us the woman had to flee to the wilderness from the dragon. Now, here's an interesting detail. In Daniel chapter 7, who persecuted the saints of the Most High? It was the little horn, right? That persecuted the saints of the Most High, which represents the papacy. But in Revelation chapter 13, in Revelation chapter 12, it is the dragon that persecutes the saints of the Most High. So what picture do we have here? In Daniel, it's the little horn that persecutes the saints. In Revelation chapter 12, it is the dragon that persecutes the saints. Let me ask you, how was it that the Roman Catholic papacy persecuted God's people during the 1260 years? They used the civil powers of Europe. They united with the kings of Europe to get the kings of Europe to persecute God's people. So once again, the dragon in Revelation 13, 1 through 10, represents Satan working through the civil rulers of Europe to help the papacy keep its power. And then in Revelation 13, 11 through 18, we have the beast that rises from the earth. And this beast that rises from the earth ends up speaking like what? It ends up speaking like a dragon. What must this mean? It must mean that Satan is going to speak through the civil power of what nation? Through the civil power of the United States. And so basically the dragon represents the secular powers of the world through whom Satan works to accomplish his purposes. Are you following me or not? Now that's a very important detail. As we continue studying, we will see it. I want us to notice that this threefold union really represents, for a moment, Revelation chapter 19 and verses 19 and 20. This is at the second coming of Jesus, and there's an interesting detail. In Revelation chapter 12 and 13, you have the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. But here in Revelation 19, there's a variation of a detail. Notice Revelation 19, verses 19 and 20. And I saw the beast, the kings of the earth, so you have the beast and what else? The kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him who sat on the horse and against his army. And now notice verse 20. And the beast was captured. This is the same beast of Revelation 13, 1 through 10. The beast was captured, and with him who? The false prophet. So what are the three powers that stand against Christ when Christ is about to come? It is, first of all, the beast. Secondly, the false prophet. And in third place, what? The kings of the earth. Did you notice that? So what is the dragon in Revelation chapter 19? The dragon in Revelation chapter 19 are the kings of the earth. And then in chapter 20, the first 3 verses, you see who is the dragon behind the dragon. Because an angel comes down from heaven with a chain in his hand, and he chains the devil to this world for 1,000 years. Are you following me or not? So this threefold union represents apostate Protestantism, the papal power, and the secular sector of the world. The kings of the world, or those who are of a secular mentality, will all join forces together and form a confederacy against the government of heaven. Ellen White understood that the dragon represented the secular powers, or the kings. In the book Testimonies to Ministers, page 38, she had this to say: kings and rulers and governors. What kind of individuals are those? Those are the civil power, right? The secular power. She says, kings and rulers and governors have placed upon themselves the brand of Antichrist and are represented as the dragon who goes to make war with the saints, with those who keep the commandments of God, who have the faith of Jesus. In their enmity against the people of God, they show themselves guilty also of the choice of Barabbas instead of Christ. So what is represented by the dragon according to this statement? Kings and rulers and governors. In other words, secular powers of the world, not the religious powers. You see, the papacy is a religious power. Apostate Protestantism is a religious power. But the third power represents secularism, those who are of a secular mentality.